Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with all of you. It's doubly wonderful for me because in 2006, I had the fortune of living in Australia for about a year with my wife, and any chance that I have to return and spend time in a city that I love, people that are wonderful, it's just a great moment for me, and so it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. And what's also wonderful is that in this room right now are over 600 of the leading practitioners of talent acquisition in all of Australia and New Zealand and around all of Asia Pacific. And I feel so very grateful that you've taken time out of your busy schedules to spend a moment with us and try to improve together as a discipline. And leading up to the conference, I was reflecting on a speech that I heard Steve Jobs give back in 1997 upon his return to Apple. It was a very low point in the company's history, and he was talking about how all great companies have a tremendous clarity of what they stand for. And he encapsulated it with a simple question: who do they honor? He talked about how Nike honored great athletes and great athletics, and he believed that Apple honored people who were crazy enough to believe that they could change the world. And it was that simple concept that was the starting point for the launch of the Think Different campaign and Apple's return to success. At LinkedIn, we honor people that create dream jobs. Dream jobs change lives. They leverage the best of your abilities and give you a tremendous sense of purpose. It's almost as if your physical body chemistry changes, your friends notice a difference, your family feels differently. It's a different way of life. And the people in this room create dream jobs on a daily basis around the world. And my hope is that if we use the next session together and we can improve as a group, that we can create these moments for more people than ever before. That's my dream for our time today. I wanted to spend this morning talking about two things. I wanted to give you an update on our vision for the future of talent acquisition, but I thought I'd start with giving you an insight into the evolution of the LinkedIn ecosystem, because it really is that ecosystem that drives the health of all of the value that we create together and all of the hires that you make through LinkedIn. The most important thing to understand when it comes to LinkedIn's philosophy is that the core principle of LinkedIn is that our members come first. As Cliff mentioned, what that means is that our loyalty is first to you as an individual before it's to you as an organization. In fact, if you went to Mountain View, California, where our headquarters is, and you interviewed a series of engineers, what you'd find is that 80% of them are working on products or features that we never intend to sell. They're purely designed to enhance the value of how free members engage on LinkedIn. And yet we understand that the health of that platform is fundamental to how we create value together and how LinkedIn builds its business. Our goal is to measure ourselves against a very specific vision, which is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. That includes helping university students finding their first job, help people that are currently employed find their dream job, and help people that are employed in their dream job be better at the work that they're doing. I'm happy to say that our progress against our mission and our vision has never been healthier. In fact, recently we announced that LinkedIn now has over 300 million members around the world. That's more than 82 million members more than when we were all here together at Talent Connect Sydney last year. And it's a truly global network. Over 200 million of those members are outside of the United States. And the international population is growing much faster than that in the United States. What's exciting for me is that it's not just the size of the network is expanding, it's that the shape and the contours of it are growing as well. Asia Pacific generally has grown to over 50 million members, including over 5 million in Australia and 1 million in New Zealand, and millions more in India and Singapore and Hong Kong and China. And our goal is to become the ubiquitous platform for professional engagement around Asia and Australia. And it's not just that the geographic tone of LinkedIn is changing, the makeup of how our industries function is also changing. What used to feel like a very technology-oriented website or membership now represents a true cross-section of the global workforce. We have over 16 million members in healthcare, over 1.2 million members of the mining industry, and believe it or not, 11,000 people in the industry of cricket. So whether you're looking for a hospital technician or a mining engineer or someone who knows how to avoid an LBW, we've got someone for you. But the truth is that we like to believe that you can find anyone on LinkedIn, but it's just not true. Because yesterday, we did a search for talented cricketers in the UK. And to be honest, we just couldn't find anyone. So we're working on that. We're working on that. We've got a long way to go. There's a lot of populations out there still. Perhaps the area that we're most excited about in terms of the evolution of the LinkedIn platform is what it might mean for students. Because uni students face some of the most important career decisions in their lives, and they often make them with limited information or guidance. If I think back to my moments when I was choosing my first job, I would talk to anyone. I would talk to my friends, I would talk to my family, I would talk to my mentors at school, anything that I could use to build a collage of information to help me guide myself through these very important decisions. And the reason that I had to do that is because the data just never existed. With our 300 million members comes 300 million unique career paths, where we're able to chart how people started their careers and progressed their careers. And now more than ever, students are coming to LinkedIn to make those hard first choices in their career about how to start. There are 39 million college students, university students, and recent grads on LinkedIn. And the way that they're engaging is through a new product that we call University Pages. University Pages is a place where students can come to learn what graduates of their schools before him have gone on to do. If you're from the University of Western Sydney, what functions have people gone on to be successful at? What companies have they gone to? Who are notable alumni that I might be inspired by? If I want to work at this company, who might have graduated from my university that I could contact for advice on how to get in? This is the kind of information that helps people make great choices that are in line with their aspirations. And we're incredibly excited about how the data on LinkedIn can help university students from around Asia Pacific and globally make better choices that are going to make them happy in their lives. But it's not just about the growth of the network, because as we all know, the core of LinkedIn is to become the professional identity of record for professionals around the world. And what I'm happy to report is that in the last year, we've seen a 70% increase in members updating their profiles to make sure that it's accurate and it's recent and it fully reflects their capabilities. But we believe that the nature of the profile can also evolve. And while I get a real sense of what Kate's capable of based on her profile as a makeup artist, when I see these images of what she's done in her job, it gives me a fundamentally different perspective on what she's capable of. Last year, we launched a product called the LinkedIn Portfolio so that members could embed multimedia content directly in their profile to give a true sense of what their work product can be like and what they're capable of. Sometimes a picture just does say 1,000 words. Over the last 6 months, 3 million pieces of content have been uploaded into profiles, and our hope is that helps professionals truly represent themselves and it helps you find exactly the person that you're looking for to fill the role. Perhaps the newest and most exciting part of LinkedIn strategy has around being a place where professionals come to on a daily basis to be better at the jobs that they're already in. And one of the most exciting strategies that we've deployed is the Influencers program. About 18 months ago, we invited a very small number of business luminaries and executives and thought leaders from around the world to come to LinkedIn and share their latest thinking on their industry, the world of work, and how to be effective as a professional. And over the last 18 months, we've grown that program to over 400 people, including 5 different influencers in Australia right now. And they're talking about topics from thinking about your career path to the future of financial services to how to rechart how you're talking about your relationship with your boss. And for me, I like to think of this program as a personal circle of mentors. These are people that I almost feel like I come to on a regular basis to make hard choices because they've been through my seat and they've been successful, and I have a tremendous amount to learn from them. And now people like Bill Gates and Arianna Huffington and Naomi Simpson are having hundreds of thousands or millions of followers on LinkedIn that are coming to LinkedIn on every day to help glean those insights. It's incredibly exciting. And so I'm happy to report that the LinkedIn ecosystem has never been in a healthier place. The network is growing, profiles are being updated and are more vibrant than ever before, and people are coming on a daily basis to glean insights to be better at the jobs than that they're already in. But I wanted to share a small little vision into the future of where we're going. Because we believe that there's a tremendous opportunity to digitize and represent all of the different layers of the global economy. We've started with professionals. There are over 300 million professional profiles on LinkedIn. There are over 4 million companies on LinkedIn. What if we could build a network of all of the people and all of the companies and all of the jobs and skills and universities and professional knowledge, and understand how all of those things are digitally represented and connected? What if we could build the world's first economic graph? Our belief is that when we do that, we can help all forms of capital, whether it be financial capital, intellectual capital, or human capital, move to the part of the global economy where it can best be leveraged. For people, that means finding their dream jobs and being amazing at the jobs that they're in. For companies, it means charting their competitive strategies and finding the right talent. For governments and countries, it means investing in the right parts of the economy, thinking about how to retrain their workforces for the skills of tomorrow, and making great decisions about how to invest in education. How do we bring all of this information into a single place to address the inefficiencies in how the global economy works and make everyone's lives just a little bit more prosperous? That's our hope. We're very early in our journey, but we're hopeful. But enough about LinkedIn. Let's talk about why we're here. I don't believe that we're here because of LinkedIn. I don't believe we're here because of social media. I believe that we're here because we're in the midst of the most fundamental shift in talent acquisition in the last 100 years. And let me share with you a framework to describe what I mean. I want you to imagine a pyramid of talent that represents the global workforce. At the top of the pyramid, I want you to think about true impact players, people for whom the difference between a good hire and a great hire might have 100x impact on the business. Think CEOs, think heads of divisions, think your most senior researchers. And at the bottom of the pyramid, imagine people for whom the difference between someone okay and someone great only matters a little. And I hate to use this example because I apologize if anyone's done this job, but I like to think about a supermarket checkout clerk. You go to the supermarket, you decide what you want to buy, and their goal is to help you through the store and send you on your way. And if that employee is a little bit more punctual or a little bit more helpful with clients, they make a difference, but it's not going to change the face of the business. And as businesses, we have roles that are everywhere in between. And over the course of the last 100 years, we've had two fundamental recruiting strategies. At the top of the pyramid, we've had headhunting, which is a very effective, high-cost, high-quality strategy that works very well as long as you're not trying to hire at scale. And at the bottom of the pyramid, we've had help wanted. And 100 years ago, that might have been a little sign in your storefront, and then eventually it was an ad in the newspaper, and more recently an ad online. But essentially, it's the same thing. It's a promotion to active candidates for a current opening. And 100 years ago, these models worked because this is what most organizations looked like. Think factories, think farms, railroads. They had a few executives at the top that made all of the decisions overseeing a vast supply of semi-skilled labor. But that's not what your organization looks like. Your organization looks like this. Over the last 100 years, we've seen a fundamental shift in the structure of companies. And I would say that for most of our companies, between 40 and 80% of their employees, it absolutely matters to find a great person for the company to win. Because talent in the 21st century is the fundamental competitive advantage of how companies are leading in their industries. But these two recruiting strategies won't scale to solve that problem. And this is the most fundamental problem that we talk to our clients about. And it's the problem that we've been focused on for the last 5 years as a business. And we believe that the answer to this problem is passive talent. Because 80% of the global workforce isn't looking for work, and yet it's in that population that you often find the world's best and brightest. And there's never been a platform that made passive talent accessible like LinkedIn has in the last several years. And in recruiting these people who are gainfully employed is a completely different strategy than many recruiting organizations are used to. Recruiting has become a sales and marketing process. Passive talent doesn't need a job. They have a job, oftentimes a great one. So what's it going to take for all of us to convince this person that there's a great opportunity in front of them to consider, even though they're perfectly happy with what they're doing? So I'd like to share with you 4 things that we've been working on recently to help our customers navigate into a world where proactive recruiting, where recruiting as a sales and marketing discipline can be successful. Many of you in this room, I've been incredibly inspired to see some of you make that transition incredibly well. And many of you are earlier in that process, and we're very hopeful to help you along that way. But at the start of it, we can feel comfortable because 80% of people on LinkedIn are open to a conversation for the right job. Most of those are passive candidates. But the issue is that they're not open to any job, they're open to the right job. So it's about finding the right people, and it's about engaging them with a message that makes sense for them. Finding passive talent and recruiting them is really hard. And so what we've been working on over the last several years is using the wealth of data on LinkedIn to help you find and engage those people in the most efficient way possible. Proactive recruiting takes work, and we're hoping to take some of the time and effort out of that process. One of the ways that we're doing that is 2 new features in the Recruiter product. One's called Inside Opinion. It essentially unearths for you employees at your company that may know this candidate to both help you get in and also help you make sure you understand how effective that person has been in prior roles. I think we've all been in a situation where at the end of a long interview process with a candidate that we're very excited about, we only later find out that someone worked with them before and thought that they were awful, or worked with them before and thought that they were great. And why can't we bring that intelligence earlier into the process to create a much better candidate experience for the people we really want and to create a shorter process for us for the people that we don't? We're trying to bring those insights and those connections earlier into the process. And the second thing is around similar profiles. Searching and finding the right candidate is really hard. And so when you find someone that you like, we want to show you other candidates that fit similar dynamics. Maybe you would never have found them through the search methodology that you're using, but somewhere in our data, it suggests to us that these are people also worth looking at. We want to take some of the work out of search, and we believe that our algorithms can help you do that effectively. And it extends beyond the way that your recruiters use our Recruiter product. Because one of the most powerful dynamics on LinkedIn is how targeted jobs to our members can make a passive candidate engage. The Jobs You May Be Interested in module drives 50% of the jobs activity on LinkedIn. What that means is that 50% of all the job views happen for a person that never thought about searching for a job to begin with. But they saw the right job at the right moment. It happened to match their capabilities. It happened to match their aspirations. And so they wanted to take a look. And that kind of targeting is what takes someone out of a, I'm perfectly happy with what I'm doing state of mind into a, I wonder what could be at this new employer. So we're very excited about how that technology has improved and where we can take it in the future. We've also learned that this technology of matching jobs to candidates can be used to solve a different problem, which is around retaining your best people. We've learned that 42% of employees that leave would have happily stayed if only they'd found a role that met their skills and their ambitions. People don't leave companies, they leave jobs. And unfortunately, many people leave only later to find out that there was a great job waiting for them at their current employer. They just didn't know. They just didn't find it. Or they didn't feel encouraged to look. And so they left. Sadly to say, most people feel like it's easier to get a job outside of their current employer than at their current employer. So we're going to work on that together. Over the last several quarters, we've rolled out a new piece of technology to recommend internal jobs to candidates on LinkedIn. So that when one of your employees on LinkedIn goes to search for jobs, we are going to make sure that they understand what's available at your current employer. And we're going to start infusing internal jobs directly into the job recommendation algorithm to make sure that when people see something exciting, they also see something that could be interesting without ever leaving their company. The results of this have been incredibly promising. We've had the opportunity to charter this with Charlie Milne at Westpac, and over the last several quarters, she's seen a doubling of engagement of internal applications and views on LinkedIn, which is very exciting. We think that people shouldn't have to leave their employer to get ahead, and our goal is to help you do that. Another area that we believe is essential to the shift to recruiting as a sales and marketing activity is around branding. Because the truth is that if you're going to get me to leave the job that I'm in, I got to think about you in a very positive way. Your organization has to be in a place to take my career to the next level. And people get that. 52% of candidates believe that the brand of an employer is central to their decision-making process of whether to leave or not, particularly in Australia. I feel this myself. I mentioned earlier that I had a chance to live in Australia for about a year with my wife, and I would call it a problem. I got a bit of a problem when it came to Tim Tams. And brands evoke strong emotions in all of us. And for me, I found this wonderful cookie that doesn't exist in the United States, and I became very connected to it. In fact, it wasn't really the Tim Tam, but more the Tim Tam Slam that I loved. And so for those of you that don't know what this is, you essentially take the cookie, you bite off the ends, you use it as a straw, you suck up coffee through the cookie, and then you eat the cookie, right? This is like an amazing invention, whoever came up with this. And so I built this affinity for Arnott's through Tim Tam, but I don't know what it's like to work there. Is it amazing? Is it as amazing as a Tim Tam? Probably not. Tim Tam's pretty amazing. But we need to think about our companies in the same way that great marketers think about their products and services. Because in a world where passive talent is at the center of our recruiting strategy, how people perceive us is essential to starting the conversation. Campbell Arnott's, about 18 months ago, worked with us to assess how their talent brand was performing on LinkedIn. For those of you that haven't gone through this process with us, we have an analysis called the Talent Brand Index that allows you to benchmark yourself against people that are going after a similar talent pool and see how you're doing. And Campbell Arnott's was last amongst their peers. And so over the course of the next 18 months, they leveraged the best of their thinking about how to turn Campbell Arnott's into a choice employer, a top talent brand. They engaged their executives to post content on LinkedIn. They had a destination on LinkedIn, on their LinkedIn career page, to speak to candidates about why it's so exciting to work there. They distributed content throughout the LinkedIn platform that they knew would engage marketers and R&D professionals and people in all the functions that they cared about to care about Campbell Arnott's and think about them as positively as I think about a Tim Tam. And over that 18-month period, Campbell Arnott's moved from last to first. And I'm excited because the team from Campbell Arnott's is here today, and they're going to be leading a session later to talk about how they went on this journey to move from 11% talent brand index to 34% and from last to first. It's an incredibly inspiring story, and it's essential to understanding how do we get passive talent to engage with us when we reach out. The last trend I wanted to talk about was mobile. We feel mobile every day. In fact, to call it mobile has almost become trite. We look at our phones the first thing when we wake up and the last thing when we go to bed. You grab your phone, you check your email, you check your stuff. And statistically speaking, on LinkedIn today, 41% of all of our traffic and our uniques comes through mobile. We're fastly approaching what we call our mobile moment, the moment where more than half of all traffic to LinkedIn comes through a mobile device. And it's caused us to completely rethink how we do business. And I'm very proud of how the company has managed that transition. But it also means that recruiting organizations need to rethink their strategies for a mobile-first world. And our recent survey suggests that only 9% of Australian talent acquisition organizations feel like they're prepared to win in a mobile-first world. I'm here to tell you that through our partnership our goal is to help you make that transition completely seamlessly, and we're going to do it in two ways. The first is we're going to provide you as recruiters with tools to leverage the best of LinkedIn Recruiter on the go wherever you are, untethered from your desk. We're putting the full power of 300 million candidates in your pocket so that you can search, send them emails, respond to people whenever you need to. We launched this on iPhone in October, and as of a few weeks ago, I'm proud to say that we launched the Google Android version, which is available in the Play Store. So for those of you that haven't seen the product and are on Android, you can now download it right now if you'd like, or in 10 minutes when I'm done. What's even more important than making sure that our recruiters are mobile is making sure that our job seekers are able to find our jobs when they're searching on mobile. And that's a hard problem because the mobile device is 3.5 to 4 inches tall. It's a very small amount of real estate. And we need to make sure that when we're showing people opportunities, we're showing them the right ones. At the core of LinkedIn is the idea that we know your professional background. We know your role, we know your company, we know your geography. And based on all of that information, we're able to target the right jobs to you based on who you are and what you aspire to be. And we've now embedded our job recommendation technology directly into the mobile LinkedIn experience. And so far, we've been able to generate over 30% of all job views on LinkedIn is happening on mobile devices. When you have jobs on LinkedIn, you are succeeding on mobile. If you're trying to figure out how to win with your mobile strategy, we're already helping you get there. Those are 4 themes that we believe have been central to our strategy over the last year. But I want to give you a sneak peek into one that we're very excited about over the next 12 months. Many of you have gone to LinkedIn and done a search, maybe for a Java software developer if you're in the technology space. And right now, in Recruiter, we show you the best Java developers that we can find that are relevant. But the truth is that when each of us search, we see the same results. And yet, the Java software developer that you want is different than the Java software developer that the recruiter sitting next to you wants, or the competitor down the street. You don't want any Java software developer. You want a Java software developer that has gone to the schools that have produced some of your best people, that is connected with your employees because perhaps that's more likely to be a cultural fit, that has worked at places that you believe produces fantastic engineering talent. We need to create a world where when you're searching in LinkedIn Recruiter, we're delivering you a customized experience that knows who you are, who your organization wins with, and who talent out there matches the specific needs that you have. We need to envision a world where it's no longer LinkedIn Recruiter, it's your LinkedIn Recruiter. That's something we're very excited about, and we're happy to speak about later in the year. I've spent a lot of time talking about the changing dynamics in the talent acquisition industry and the things that we're trying to do to enable you to be successful on your journey. But the truth is that this all starts with the people in this room. And you may not know this, but you are in incredibly high demand. In fact, talent acquisition and recruiting is the number 8 sought after skill on all of LinkedIn. It's up there with the most advanced statisticians, the most advanced marketers using social media, with Java developers using the newest techniques. Recruiting is number 8. And our hope is that with all of you, we can partner to bring the best technology to enable you to be as productive and as effective as possible so that we together can create as many dream jobs as we possibly can around the world. I want to thank you for being here with us. I want to thank you for all of your hard work to create those moments for people that are your employees. And I really appreciate all of the effort that we can put in together to take the industry forward. Thank you so much.